Start streaming. Hi everybody, we are going to take a look at the new iPadRehab.com website. So we were kind of forced a little bit by a host snafu to launch our website. This is the website that we've been working with web designers for like over a year. Finally launched. It's a little bit incomplete, so please be patient, but we are taking all of our estimates through iPadRehab.com. The old domain, MendenIPadRehab.com, is going to eventually redirect to the new iPadRehab.com. So you can go to iPadRehab.com and click on the supply store to order your Tristar Tester or any of our supplies. You can click on Start Repair to tell us about your device and problem. If you need to get a quote for mail-in repair, you can go to iPadRehab.com to get your quote for data recovery or sign up for training. So we are all live on iPadRehab.com. Update your bookmarks if you have been using the old Menden iPad Rehab. That was our earlier beginning dining room days URL that now we've got our big girl iPadRehab.com official site. So I wanted to just kind of let you guys know that all of those Menden iPad Rehab links are going to be dead until I punch our web host in the face enough times for them to let me back into the site and do all of those redirects. And I thought that we would do a fun repair while I kind of updated the world on YouTube to go to iPadRehab.com, check out our new website, and tell us what you think. We're really excited about it. We've got some work to do on the supply store. That was kind of the last piece that we're building. But we're really excited about that. Our forum as well as part of this kind of host debacle. So our forum, if you have a forum question, go ahead and send that to me on info@MendenIPadRehab.com, our email address. So our email address are still the same until further notice. So go check out our new website and feel free to ask us any questions. You can always call us at 585-397-4174. That's our business number that we will answer, and we'll be especially sure to be listening for that while we're kind of in this transition period to the new website. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at this phone. So this is a phone that just showed up today, and Christine was checking it in, and I said, hey, let me take a look at that. It's an iPhone 8. Now, we haven't seen a lot of iPhone 8s. That's great news. It means that the iPhone 8s don't break a lot. So it's one of our, I saw one yesterday for data recovery that we were able to recover, and I've seen a couple for some pry damage, and now we've got this one. So this is our first iPhone 8 that's here for no power. So let's take a look at the note. We're always going to start with a note, and the note says, iPhone 8, no charge, no power, no current pull, no power, no home. And the description is, since I don't stock parts for the iPhone 8, 8P, and 10, I thought you might like to see more 8 devices for repair. Well, thanks, Ray from I Broke, for thinking of us. I thought you might like to see more iPhone 8s for repair. Sure, why not? Why not? We will figure it out. Okay, so this is the iPhone 8, and I have opened it up to kind of save some time. Let's see what the deal is. Now, we have been starting a lot of our repairs with our new Tristar Tester tool. I'm going to do a dedicated video on how to use this as we go. But this tool has met the really, really difficult metric of what it takes to get the 5-star recommendation from Jessa, which is this. Would I get up and walk across the room to retrieve this tool if I didn't have it, or would I just move on without it? And the answer is yes, I would. So whenever Christy borrows my Tristar Tester and I need it, I will actually look around, I'll get up, and I will go get it. So that's how you know it's a good tool. So Christy, would you agree with that? Would you do the same? Would you get up to go seek the Tristar Tester?
I did just now, right?
Yes, you did. Well, that's why I was worried. Like I was going to have to get up and go get it because
I returned it.
Wow. She returned it. She brought it back because she knew how important it was. That's so So nice. All right, so here we go. Now, in order to use the new version, so this is the one that's the production version, not the test version that I was demoing. The production version, you're going to turn it on, and you can do this in a couple ways. One, you can use it in normal mode, or you can hold a button while you turn it on, and that'll turn it on in expert mode or kind of developer mode, so that will give you some values. Let's just turn it on and use it in normal mode. Now, this thing will boot up with two different buttons here. One says test and the other says quick test. Use quick test. So we're going to use quick test. We're going to plug this in. Now the phone should be off when you're doing your Tristar test. And if you've got one of these and you're starting to play with it, fantastic. Hopefully you'll find a lot of interesting stuff. There is a user manual at tristartester.com/support. So let's click quick test and see what we learn here. All right. So this is going to give me reading on the dock flex, which is it connected or not? It said dock is okay. That quick test was pretty quick. And now it's testing Tristar. Testing Tristar, and this is a good way to kind of like start off on some sort of an unopened no power phone. Now this is your front counter facing tool so that you could tell right away before this even gets past the front counter whether or not this is just a straightforward Tristar job or something else. All right, pass. All right, so this says pass, which tells me that it doesn't have a clear, obvious short to ground through Tristar or any problem on any of the probable lines within Tristar. So that's going to kind of take Tristar off of my radar screen for what to do with this. What's your next step? Let's assume that we've already done rule number 1. So we've ruled out screen, battery, dock, and now we have a board problem. So why does this thing not boot? Next tool is our go-to tool, the good old DC power supply. So I'm going to leave the screen connected, and let's see, we just got a new desktop cam. Ding, here we go, desktop cam, yay! Sunday went out and bought this for me because I broke the other one this morning. So here we are looking at our DC power supply. So we are going to take the DC power supply cable and plug in the one for the iPhone 8, which is the same one for the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 10. All right, so here we go. If you don't have one of these, you can get one at iPadRehab.com. Click on supply and pick up one of these testers. Now, I like to be really careful when I'm using the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8, this little new battery connector. So I actually unplug it while I'm making that connection just so that I don't accidentally graze ground.
So Christy does all of our...
And let's see. Dan the plumber says, new website looks really good. Fantastic. What does it measure? We can talk more about the Tristar tester. I was going to do maybe even still today another video just on. I've got one that the manufacturer would really not want me to do, which is one that I think would be fun. We might do it. All right. So I'm trying to plug this in, and let me pay attention.
Jessa wrote you a very lengthy explanation, so I just want to make sure.
Jessa wrote a lengthy explanation. Okay, so I have this connected down here on the phone. Now we're going to plug this in, and let's see, do we have a short circuit on a main power rail? No, so it's able to push in that voltage, and there's no holes in the balloon. It stays at 0. That is normal. Let's go ahead. And maybe there's nothing wrong with it. Let's prompt to boot and see what happens. So I'm holding this down here on my desk, and let's prompt to boot. Now you guys can watch that DC power supply. I just touched the power button, prompt, 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 and that is a short circuit. We have a high current consumption. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. We've got 1.8 amps of current consumption right after you hit that power button. That is really atypical compared to the normal current consumption. So what kind of a problem is that? That's a short circuit. Is it a short circuit on VCC main? No, because it didn't consume any current before prompt to boot. Is it a short circuit on battery VCC? No. Is it a short circuit on backlight line? No. It's a short circuit somewhere else. Something has a hole in it. There's a hole in a balloon somewhere. one of the balloons that is only used after I hit power button. So let's see. Short circuit, yes. I am pretty sure, says Matthew Fox, that repeated face punching is an acceptable standard operating procedure for website programmers. Great, then I totally agree. All right, so now we have to figure out what line is short. So one of the things that drives me crazy that I would love to see everyone move away from, let's stop doing Wheel of Fortune repair. So what's Wheel of Fortune repair? I've been responding to posts a lot lately about what I call Wheel of Fortune repair, which is maybe spin the spinner. Mesa Boost chip is bad, so let's replace it. So you want to get away from that kind of like random, guess what might be bad repair, and really have a thoughtful approach. So your approach is going to be the combination of your physical presentation, your electrical presentation, and the big one, your experience. So experience, what do we know about that same presentation in other devices? Well, if this were another device, then I would be thinking, that would be most likely from experience a short circuit on a power management output line. Most likely, in my experience, it would be 3VO NAND. So let's take a look at the device under the microscope, and specifically, let's just go look over there at 3VO NAND. So that's a hypothesis based on experience and logic that is going to kind of point us in a direction that's not just sort of spin the spinner. All right, let's get rid of the desktop cam. Let's get rid of the website stuff. Let's see, how do I get rid of that picture too? Right, and now we're just looking under the microscope. So here's this device under the microscope. All right, Richard Denton is suggesting I2C or I squared C. Now that is not something that would likely be short. This problem is not a brain dead problem. This phone is not brain dead. This phone has a short circuit. It's got a fire hose. There's something pissing current somewhere in the phone, and we got to put that out. So that is unlikely to be the ones and zeros that are in a data line like an I2C line. So we would not have that on our radar screen. But that's a good guess. All right, so just from experience, and remember, I have never fixed an iPhone 8 before. This is the first, this literally just walked in the door an hour ago, and I had a new camera and wanted to talk about the website, so I said, let's give it a shot. All right, so I'm looking at the NAND, and the NAND to me looks like it has a physical abnormality, and that to me looks like water. That looks like water. Let's go back and really study the housing here. I'm going to put the housing under the microscope. Now I'm looking for physical clues. All right, this is, who wants to taste this and tell me if this is salt or dried milk? Christy? Christine?
Christy.
Anybody?
I want to see. I want to see if I can tell.
Yes, I just need to, we need to be complete for our YouTube channel. And there's a substance in this phone, and I just want to know if it's salt, like salt water, or is it like dried yogurt? So, semen, okay. Well, you would probably know, like.
Can I smell it?
Yeah.
I don't want to taste it, I want to smell
Yeah, all right, come on over. Just like, yeah. Does it smell like that perfume I got from France?
Yes.
No, why does
It's a French whore.
I put it?
Yes. It's the breast milk of a French whore.
Breast milk of a French whore. All right, this phone has had breast milk of a French whore. That's what happened to it, and remember, give a full, complete history. It really helps us out with our detective work. So if this has been to a French whore who was lactating, please just write it down in the ticket. It will save so much time. All right, so now we've got physical clues to go with our electrical presentation, which is, we got some kind of liquid damage around this area. All right, let's look. There's a little bit there, but these stickers themselves look intact. So nobody has come and picked the sticker off before. And Christy is a bloodhound for ooh stuff. Well, that was Sunday, so we gotta do more FaceTime with the iPad Rehab, ladies of iPad Rehab. Yeah, you can really see it there. That's definitely water damage. Okay, so ignoring that, because the standard operating procedure now would be decline repair because of water damage, and this would be data recovery eligible only. But we'll just keep on going since we're invested now. Now we're invested. They got us now. All right, so let's see if we can take a look on the yield multimeter. All right, so here is the multimeter. Maybe I can even make it in a low-tech way so that you guys, no, I don't think so, that you guys can see that at the same time as the microscope. I don't think we can do that. All right, let's do a little bit of probing around. So from experience, the power lines for the NAND are going to show up right around the NAND. So let's go ahead and probe around the NAND and see if we can find something that has low resistance to ground. All right, so I've got one probe on ground in diode mode, my favorite measuring mode. I'm going to just probe around. I'm going to probe this guy here. One side is ground. Aha! There we go. Look how easy is that. Boom, boom. That is a line that is a short circuit. All right, and there's a line that is not short. Now, my ZXW, I tried to pull it over so that you guys could see it for the iPhone 8. It's very weak, and as are schematics, so that means we are going to have to guess. So you guys could look up on your own what line is this, and if we did that, I think, let's see, does the ZXW even tell me? No. Let's see. I'm not even sure that I have an iPhone 8 schematic. Let's see if I do. So now I'm going on a hunt. And if I do, I'll see if I can pull it up for you guys. Let's see. Do I have an iPhone 8 schematic? Let's go on a hunt. iPhone... I've got iPhone 10. I've got a couple of MacBooks, iPhone 7, 7 Plus. Never needed one before. So I've never had to go hunt down the iPhone 8 schematic. I assume that there is one out there that I could probably go find. How do you find schematics? You look around by Googling the board number or just kind of looking around. If one has fallen off a truck in China, then it's instantly released to the whole world in 9 seconds later, and you'll be able to find it. There's no like secret hiding spot. But for us, I'm not going to spend time on that now. Let's see if we can continue on without having to go hunt down the schematic. I'd like to have it, and I will go do that now. All right, so let's see. We have, let's see if I can just kind of screen share maybe. Now, when I screen share, there's no audio. So I'm just showing you briefly what does ZXW look like in this spot. So let's just take a quick look, and we'll come back.
This is really not going to help.
All right, so now we looked at ZXW and we can see that, all right, this looks like it's probably what we guessed, which is the NAND power line, which is probably around 3 volts, like on all of the other devices. This is really fitting with things that we've seen before, even though this device is new to us. So we're just going to keep on applying. Now, I don't have any idea which component back here is actually causing the short circuit. It could be the NAND chip itself, but it's probably, from experience, one of these capacitors. Which one? I don't know. If there's no physical damage, then I would pick a large one at the end, again, just from experience and what we know from other devices. However, I have seen it before be a little tiny one if there's liquid damage. So I want to put my eyeballs on this back of the board area. So I'm going to use low heat and scrape it up a little bit and see if I can see any physical findings. So let's see if you guys... Hi, Jess. Why don't you use on-screen software by Paul Daniels with proper multimeter? Well, I do have a proper multimeter. I hate the word proper. I have a multimeter that works just fine, thank you very much. I have no intention of buying another one so that you can see my multimeter. If you want to see my multimeter, sign up for training at iPadRehab.com. You can come over here and look at my multimeter all day long. If you would like to send me a new multimeter, by all means, go to iPadRehab.com, click Contact Us, and have at it. We always love gifts. We love gifts. In fact, I'll show you one of my favorite gifts that we got just kind of from the YouTube folks. And we're going to scrape this up a little bit and see what we can see. Alrighty. I don't like the word proper. I like the word practical. Practical means thoughtful, efficient, reasonable, and it's the middle ground between the theoretical folks that want to measure every single line on the board with an oscilloscope, and the please bros that just want to, do spin the spinner, replace the chip, see bad, replace bad, bro, see heat, replace chip. Practical board repair means using logic to find the marriage between your physical presentation, your electrical presentation, your experience. Practical repair to efficiently find the root problem, solve it, and move on with your day. All right, so now we've got a couple of candidates. So we see frank water damage. Who knew? I did not expect this when I first looked at this board in that phone. You can't even tell from just looking at the phone that it has any kind of water damage at all. In fact, if you look at the screen, there's no sign on this screen at all that it had any kind of liquid damage. Just a little drop of French breast milk. All right, so we've got a couple of candidates here that are on our shorted line. So we don't know if it's this guy, are you the bad guy? We don't know. Are you the bad guy? Are you the bad guy? Or is it going to be one of these other little dudes that ZXW told us was on the line? I don't really know. I'm certainly not going to inject and try to heat stuff up and try to kind of get intelligent about it. I am, at least not now, because I have physical damage. So I'm going to go with strategy number 1, vote the ugliest guy off the island. Let's see. Lewis has one of those on-screen multimeters. I think that's good for Lewis. All right, good for Lewis. Lewis also was the reason why I got 2 one-star reviews last night. So let's not talk about Lewis. All right, I'm going to knock this dude off because I'm going to vote the ugliest guy off the island, and I think the ugliest guy is him. Now, there's some other ugly guys, but he looked pretty ugly to me. So now we are going to go back to our multimeter, and if you guys love looking at the multimeter, we can do that. We can show you the multimeter right now. Here it is. Boom. There you go. There's your multimeter. All right, let's watch the multimeter, okay? So the multimeter, as I am probing around here at this spot, we're still short. So I'm probing, you can see just a little bit there. Probe, still short. So that was not the ugliest guy. Let's pick another guy, or maybe he was the ugliest guy. All right, so let's pick, this guy is the other ugliest guy. So let's vote him off the island. Get off my board, you ugly mofo. All right, now let's go back to our same spot and let's see whether or not this is short or not. 2 one-star reviews. What happened? Lewis is a good friend, and he tried to be helpful. But he underestimated the 4chan level of his army of minions. Let's see. Oh, still short. All right. Let's knock off this last dude in that row, and then if not solved, then we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. So he made a comment on the Discord server last night that ended up prompting a bunch of people to erroneously think that he was asking them to leave 1-star reviews on my page. And that kind of didn't work out. Yay! Here we go. Let me click over so that you can see what that looks like on our multimeter cam. We'll even light it up for you so that you don't have to squint. All right, here we go. Here's our multimeter cam. We can even move things around a little bit. Here's the multimeter cam. And at the same time, here is our spot on the logic board. So I've knocked off the 3rd ugliest looking dude on the board. And now we can do the same thing. We've got ground 000, red probe on ground, black probe on the line, and now we've got a normal reading point 0.35. Christy, bad! She's taking my Tristar Tester right now. Damn you. You better bring that back. Actually, what are you measuring? Come and show us. We want to know. Inquiring minds. We want to know what's going on.
It's an iPad Pro that I'm pretty sure doesn't have a Tristar problem, but
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we are gonna. Here, go ahead. Show us. So, Chrissy, what do you think about the Tristar thing while I put this phone back together-ish?
I told Sunday that she didn't have to run every single iPad charging job past me before accepting it. So that's
You
pretty
did?
good.
Yeah,
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah.
So I've got an iPad Pro.
Yes.
I can't
It's
do
right
this.
here. It's right here. Yeah. There we go.
iPad Pro. And it
Right.
says testing TriStar Hydra.
Testing. Now, what's wrong with this Pro?
It came in with a charging problem. It's the kind where it's the 9.7 inch, where the pins on the battery connector get trashed if you look at them funny.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And I hardwired it to the battery, and it still doesn't work, which never happens.
I see.
I've never had one that hardwiring it didn't work.
Okay. So you're doing, you did test rather than quick test. I'm always using quick test now to skip that
Because of the
test.
battery.
Yeah, the battery test is silly. Right. See, it says missing, but it's going to say missing if the battery is dead, missing, or just super low. All right. So this says TriStar pass. Excellent. All right. So then, in your experience, does that mean TriStar is actually good?
It has so far.
Yeah, it has for me too. And that's the test. That's like the other thing that I'd like to try out today. I have one here where I think, I mean, it's definitely doesn't charge. Well, that is a weird looking display. I have one here that definitely doesn't charge.
Hold your own head in your hand.
Yes, very, very weird. Well, it's kind of pretty. I like that. I'm going to leave it at that. I've got one where it does not charge, and the Tristar Tester says the dock is good and Tristar is good, and it's not the battery, and it does boot up. That's a total Tristar job. However, Tester says no, and honestly, I have from my recent experience. Remember, I'm a huge fan of applying experience. My recent experience is that Tristar Tester don't lie. That if it I have yet to find a case that I could say that was definitely Tristar. Change Tristar proved it and make a device go from not charging to charging that the tester was wrong on. So I'm interested to see what happens on that one. We will answer that in a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting this phone back together, and we're gonna see, will it boot? Will it boot? Will it charge? All right. Show the board. Here's the board. And putting it in the housing. So now we're gonna just go back to DC power supply and see if we have actually solved anything here. Uh-oh.
Is this what I just went and bought?
Huh?
Is this what I just went and bought?
I don't know.
Mini?
Did you just smell that cable?
No, I just looked.
I think you...
I do smell everything. Like,
Is this what I just smell like?
My
Best Buy?
My husband yells at me
Smells-
because I taste everything. I taste, like, if I see something on the counter, I'll taste it. And then if I find dirty clothes, I smell them to see if they're dirty. And he's like, well, I would just assume dirty.
I feel really bad. I kind of did that to Sam last night. Like, there was some kind of, like, questionable chicken in the fridge, and he was like, oh, I just, I don't like this Egyptian stuff. I just want plain chicken. So I was like, well, there's some in the fridge. And I'm thinking, like, it's probably bad. So I just let him, he's like, well, how long should I heat it up for? And I'm thinking, it's probably bad. So then
How much of your life do you want to waste when you have so little left after you get food poisoning?
Right. So then he's like, oh my God, that's disgusting. I'm like, oh, okay, so it is bad.
8.
Now I know.
Do you have 8 test parts?
And for an 8?
Yeah. Isn't this what I just did the data? This is what the data was just.
From yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So do you have a spot for that?
Oh, you're saying you're
all done
returning
with it,
you're
yeah.
returning that. Okay. Well, I'm actually testing an 8 right now.
Here you go.
Um,
No, I'm good.
Excellent. All right. Trying to make this work. I thought this would be a lot cooler than it's turning out to be. Let's see if we can move this logo. Move over, bro. Alrighty, here we go.
Alright, we gotta save package.
Smelling cables.
Sure.
Ah, I lost my little other dude. Oh, so close. There we go. No, stop twisting yourself around, you piece of crap. This new setup seemed like it was like so sweet just moments ago, but now the cables are getting twisted up, and I don't know. All right, let's see. Behave. Get out of there. I really want to be able to see the DC power. Stop moving. All right, can you like hold this? Oh, wait, here we go. All right, here. Can you just hold that for like 10 seconds? Like just make this camera not move so that we can see DC power. There you go. Perfect. All right. Got half an arm in the shot. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to disconnect here while I plug in the funky little iPhone 8 Plus, and 10 connector so that I want to make sure I can get it in there. So I plugged it in. And now we are going to hit prompt to boot. And let's see, do we still have a short? Prompt to boot. Let's see. All right, so now we have what looks like, all right, I got it. Thank you. That to me looks like normal current consumption, and if we slide over here, we've got an Apple logo. Now let's see if it can actually boot all the way up. So we've still, DC power supply still has a fairly normal current consumption, and we are going to see what happens. Sniffing cables, now you've got me interested. All right, am I the only one, says MobiFix, who's developed an allergy to perfumes from fixing thousands and thousands of women's phones? Well, it is definitely true that you can tell what kind. I have heated up phones that are been sitting on the shelf for months that have been, data recovery, and you heat it up and you're like, oh, this was in some lady's purse, and you can totally smell some perfume. All right. So this thing is still climbing around here on DC power supply. So we are going to see whether or not it can finish a long boot cycle. So it may have home button problems, or it may have front camera assembly problems, because now we know that this thing did see water. So what I'd like to do is to take that board out and put it in a known good iPhone 8 housing, just to kind of eliminate those variables. Because we might have sort of an extended, long, slow boot up time that is parts related, especially if there's any kind of water on the part, or if it can't understand its home button, for example. But I think it's going to boot. We'll see. Alrighty. Boot, baby boot. Yes. So let's see. Did you replace the caps that I have kicked off? I have not right now, because I'd like to see whether or not this phone has other problems. And in my experience, I don't think that a 3VO NAND power rail is going to cause a problem for a phone to just boot up, especially not to just boot up one time. So the real question is, would I replace these ultimately? And the answer for me is, if practical. So in the case of these caps, I probably will replace them if I can identify them. So I would need to be able to have a schematic that told me what they were, or another iPhone 8 where I could take them off and measure them without killing a phone or taking big risks. And then number two, do I have a way to put them back on that's not a risk? So I'm not going to risk the whole phone if I have to put a cap on with tight clearance or near something that's underfilled. In the case of these caps, I could probably put them back on with hot tweezers because they're on the very edge of the board. So I would probably do that. All right, so we'll see. It looks like it's boot looping. It is, yes. Jessa didn't notice it. I did. It blinked, but to me, that's a normal presentation of a iPhone 7. So again, applying experience. That's what an iPhone 7 will do if it can't detect its home button, if it has a front camera sensor problem, or if it has audio IC problems. So I would still consider this likely to boot. So I don't think that this is going to not boot. I think it will boot. I could be wrong. All right, maybe I'm totally wrong because it's dark now. But according to DC Power Supply, this thing is still going. So maybe it'll sit here and boot. All right, what I'm going to do in this case is, since it is still kind of taking a long time, I think that it will boot, but I'd like to eliminate a variable. I'd like to eliminate a lot of variables, and if I had right next to me a known good iPhone 8 housing, I would stick it in there right this second. Because what I want to do right now is I want to get it on a battery, because iPhones don't really like to boot and hang out on DC power supplies. So the DC power supply is an essential tool, and it's really great for asking the questions. Do you have a short? Are you brain dead? Are you likely to boot? And this one says, I am likely to boot. So I would like to get it on a battery, and I'd like to also make sure it has like a known good dock, especially since I know that there was water in there by the SIM tray.
She needs that charge port, but otherwise the housing is fine.
That doesn't have a board in it right now?
Yeah.
Yay!
It's not screwed in.
All right. All right, so we've got another, let's see.
iPad Rehab.
Oh yeah,
Sunday speaking.
sweet, awesome. I love like Sunday's new desk.
You need that test port though. Her charge port is no good. You gotta put
Yeah,
it.
I got
I
it.
didn't know if I said that. How can I help you?
All right, that would be pretty funny. Actually, we could demonstrate that. All right, so we happen to have a iPhone 8 from yesterday that Sunday was recovering. This one was pretty cool. This is a prior repair attempt.
Sorry, can you say
It's
that
a
again?
data recovery that came to us from, it had been sent to another shop. It had been sent to another shop in New York City, a shop that fixes a lot of MacBooks. And they could not recover this one. But we did. So we'll let that one just be a mystery. All right, so let's see if this board can boot in on a battery. And let's get it out of this housing. Alrighty. I'm looking just briefly to see, is there anything about that screen that screams water damage? And
Yep,
but it won't boot.
IPADREHAB.com.
Alrighty. Let's see. Why is this iPhone 8 dead, Apple? Now I'm really interested. I haven't really looked too much into what is up with the iPhone 8 recall. So what's up with that? I haven't really looked into that. I think is it all iPhone 8, some iPhone 8s, and what is the core issue with that? We just haven't seen very many iPhone 8s until yesterday, the first one, and then today. So I think it's a pretty good phone. There's not a lot of problems. All right, this one has a known bad charge port. Let's actually see if that's true on this. Let's plug in this charge port. Let's go ahead and plug in this battery.
I tried.
Is that
I
bad?
couldn't get it.
Yeah, is that battery
It's been plugged. It was plugged in.
that
for
charged?
all day.
It charged that battery. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. Charge it. But
All right.
it was
Let's
powered
do
on.
Tristar Tester just on this housing, just for fun, just to show you guys a little something. We're going to predict that this one has a bad dock, and we are going to quick test and check it out. Let's see. Will heating the phone up sort of reanimate blood cells, making them toxic? Whoa, look at that. Dock failed. Did you guys see that? It said that the dock failed.
I should
Let's do
have
that
one
again.
here. So that
Yeah, definitely.
That would have been a great thing for me to know.
Well, there's only one, because they're in demand, and so we all have to share. Fail. Fail. Dock. Dock flex fail. Don't worry about it. I would like to publicly thank Christy Dryden, who has once again returned the Tristar Tester back to my desk. We really appreciate Christy. Let's all give her a round of applause.
There you go, Kristen.
Way to
Your
go!
reward is you can come
Yay!
and tell me what this screw tray is. 'Cause I don't
All
know.
right, so now we know that the dock in this housing is definitely bad, and that's like so fantastic. All right, but that also means that I need to locate the dock that Sunday just delivered. Here we go. Here it is. All right. What's up, Doc? Testing Doc. Fail. Yes, we failed that.
What are you
All right.
gonna do?
Now, just for fun, now this trolled me a couple of times. When you plug in the dock, and I'm doing this all the time, the Tristar Tester is it's set up to only test in one direction. So it is not itself palindromic or whatever the word is like that. So if you plug it in like this, it's going to fail because it's expecting for this dock when it's in the native housing to be like that. So we'd have to flip that dock around. So let's see what happens if we plug in this dock, and let's do another quick test. Quick test. All right. Tristar Tester available at iPadRehab.com. Yes, iPadRehab.com. Click Supply Store. Supply Store looks a little bit, a little rough, but we had hoped to have a WooCommerce integration with a repair shop or blah, 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 blah. But it works. You can order stuff. Now, there's no Tristar Testers in stock because it's hotly in demand, and every single one that has ever been made has been sold. So we are, once again, waiting on Germany to make more. There we go, pass, yay! So now we know that the dock that I just pulled out of the pile here is a good dock. So that's fantastic, and we can expect that to work. So let's go ahead, we've got our board in there, and let's put on the screen. Let's go with the screen. We're gonna go ahead and do a home button mismatch, which might take a long time, but we're gonna just use the screen that has been working. So this is the other guy's screen. All right. I hear Rossman's Supply has them. He absolutely does not. That is not true. iPad Rehab has bought 100% of the production of the Tristar testers from the manufacturer. So eventually they will be able to, this is a fantastic tool. It's really, really great. Eventually, these guys will be able to make enough for, lots of people to have them, and you'll see other resellers come along, but that'll be a few weeks at least. And they'll all be the same price, so it doesn't, there's no way to get it any faster.
Right in front of the shop.
Okay, so here we go. Now we are going to just plug this in
How to move this on the desktop?
to a USB ammeter, USB. We're going to plug it in and see if this sucker can boot.
I want repair shop as an icon. How do I do that? This is okay. Okay.
All right, so let's see. Can it boot? We will see. All right. Let's see. Jessa is not too happy with Liz today. He means well. He means well. Hey, look at that. It boots right up. There you go. That's the beauty of a good dock and battery. So there we go. So solved. So remember, always do rule number 1, which we did do. This home button may need service. Yes, you're kidding me. All right, so there we go. So we will click this apart, and now this thing will boot, and it's time for it to get put back together. Alrighty, let's get this off of here. There you go. Alrighty. So there is something, so remember with the iPhone 8, 10, 8 Plus, those guys have a completely different organization of the way they handle their battery data. So they've got these new HDQ lines, and the old SWI interface has been retired by Apple. So the way that they listen to and handle battery data is really different, and we're still trying to figure that stuff out. So especially with the iPhone 8 and 10, 8 Plus, these guys, you want to use your DC power supply as a great, fantastic, essential diagnostic tool. You could see in this example how quickly we were able to get to the root cause of this phone not turning on. But you don't want to let a phone sit on DC power supply, and it may be that the iPhone 8s and 10s just don't like to boot. In fact, I took off just to eliminate variables, and I kind of forgot about this until right now. I took off the data lines. See how I've like taken them off so that I don't have any battery data, because I don't know what's in these lines. So I took that off to kind of eliminate variables. So it may be that iPhone 8, remember I haven't worked on very many, maybe they just don't boot on DC power supply. They just kind of do that. We're listening, you know, in a phone boot loops in that way, and it can be caused by I can't understand my home button, or I can't understand my front camera, or I can't understand my baseband CPU. It's the same overall phenomenon, which is a long boot, listening, I need something I'm not getting, I need something I'm not getting, start over, listening, audio IC, same thing. So in this case, it may be listening, and it's not hearing battery data, start over, and then once we add a good battery, it boots right up. Alrighty. Okay, let's see. I don't think there's anything else. Let's see. Does anyone recommend naked microsoldering? Sure, absolutely, yes. Let's see. Tristar Tester seems to check a lot of different stuff. It checks Tristar. Now, on the way to Tristar, you got to have a good dock. So it'll tell you, hey, I can't even test Tristar because your dock is bad. The battery stuff is silly. It doesn't, it appears to do a battery test, but it's a battery presence test, meaning is a battery plugged in? And it can only tell you, it means is a charged battery plugged in. So it's going to fail the battery presence test if the device is on. It's going to fail battery presence test if the battery is dead. It's going to fail battery presence test if the battery is one that it doesn't recognize. So all of those are, make that pretty useless. I was really pissed that that was even included at all. So a lot of screaming ensued. So my recommendation is to ignore that by just using the quick test feature, which eliminates that ridiculous battery presence test altogether. Alrighty. I got my Tristar Tester today. Exactly. All right. Let's see. Not till a biologist tells me whether blood cells can spread HIV once reheated or not. What are you talking about, reheating blood cells? That need to be more clear. All right. Let's see. Oh, we've got a bloodied phone from a victim to restore function to, but so you're worried about blood disease. All right, well, just follow. If you're worried about handling bloodborne pathogens, go to bloodborne pathogen training. And then everyone in a hospital is worried about bloodborne pathogens. And what do? They protect themselves. So if you're worried about bloodborne pathogens, wear gloves, go to bloodborne pathogen training, know how to, spray disinfectants around and keep your space safe. So I would not recommend trying to get bloodborne pathogen training on YouTube, especially not on the microsoldering channel. Alrighty. Okay, I think that is it. Sorry, Daniel, man, because we are done. I just got a new camera and we're testing some stuff out, and I might have a little bit of time because there's another one that I think would be really fun to do, more playing around with the Tristar Tester. So you might see me back online after I do some other things. And for you guys that are just joining us, check out our all new iPad Rehab website. So the iPad Rehab website has changed. We are now at iPadRehab.com, and we are retiring our beginner website. So now we have our new one, which is the all new iPad Rehab website at iPadRehab.com, where you can check out our tools and supplies at the supply store, which is working. You can check out our mail and repair services. You can check out our training programs and get your Tristar Tester ordered. We will see you at iPadRehab.com. That is it for this one. See you next time.